I'm sorry, it always takes me a second to start this, doesn't it? That's just crazy. Oh my gosh. Welcome to the Beercast. Hope I'm doing this right. Hope I'm on. Hope everything's going great. Hope everything's... I've heard of a couple of people have already messaged me and said, I had a really tough week. Really waiting for the show. Looking forward to it. I've been lonely. You know what? We're going to try to fix that up right now. We're going to try to fix this. Because that's what needs to happen. There should be no loneliness, and there should be none of this, bad week talk. We're going to get rid of it right now. Well, at least we're going to hope to. I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm hearing on the chat that the sound is out of sync. Is that a fact? I hope not. I hope everything is going groovy. No, okay, they're saying I'm doing completely right. Some of them are. Anyway, that's we're gonna do what we can here. First of all, I want to ask something of you guys, because as you know, I looked out of the chat. Who's over here? This is the chat, and apparently it's a who now. And it's a who because I just decided the chat is a who. Sorry. And I can look down here, I can see the chat, but I can't look at it all the time when I'm going through my material here. And I'm wondering if anyone knows a way to actually be able to capture the chat, because I would like to be able to read it after the show. I would like to be able to look over it and see what people said, because I want to know what they say. I want to know what they're saying to me. I want people to know that even though I may not have caught it when we were doing the live broadcast, at least I'm going to read it later and I'm going to see it. So if someone can find a way to actually capture the chat and send it to me, then please do. I want to welcome everybody to the Beercast tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Telephone. Telephone is here. Uncle Kage is here. He's not going to be here for long, so hello and goodbye whenever you have to leave. He has to go pick up his parents from a train because, older people, trains, they don't believe in airplanes. They don't. They have a hard time thinking that, 600 tons of metal is lighter than air. And honestly, when I think about it, it makes a little bit of sense. So, first of all, I want to apologize this week. Again, during the breaks, I am not going to be able to have... You're just going to see me sitting around and you're going to see me shuffle through papers and stuff like that, because I don't have anything to actually put on the screen yet. But I kind of got a solution to that. If you guys are up for this, because this is our hangout time. We get to hang out. We get to talk. And I have an idea. For those of you who don't know, this Sunday coming up is going to be a very, very special lunar eclipse. It's a total lunar eclipse. It's going to happen all over North America. Everybody's going to be able to see it. But it's also a supermoon. And supermoon means that it's going to appear to be huge. So there's going to be a large space testicle that is going to disappear and reappear. Fuck Houdini. Screw that. This is going to be some cosmic magic trick that's going to be freaking amazing. So I have an idea. And I'm going to see if we can do this every week. Let's take pictures of things. Take pictures of stuff and send them into this show. And I will put them together and I'll use them during the breaks. And I'll put your names up there along with your pictures. You can take pictures of whatever you want. Although, this week, I would suggest that on Sunday you take pictures of the lunar eclipse. And if you do and you send them in, then I'll put them on the show. And if you just take a picture of your favorite flower, I'll put that on too. It doesn't matter. Just kind of an assignment, a photo assignment, as in, just kind of, this is the direction that maybe you want to go in. And if you can take pictures of the lunar eclipse, totally awesome. Send them my way. The email address is 2beercast@gmail.com, and they'll come right to this channel, and I will be able to put them on and show them, to show people what you've done, what you've contributed to the channel, because I don't want to think of this as my show. I want to think of this as our show. I want to think this is our channel, our little group, our thing. We've got this going on. I'm the guy sitting here, but I mean, without you guys out there right now that I'm looking at who's typing, this wouldn't be anything. This is a social experience. Maybe I'm just the moderator. I don't know. But in any case, yeah, whip out your cell phone, or if you want to get really fancy, get out if you're a professional photographer or something, which you may be, then get out some of the big stuff and take some pictures of the the lunar eclipse that's coming up, and send it in, and be happy to put them on while I'm taking a break, so you don't have to see me, sitting here shuffling papers and doing stupid shit. Let me see. Let me look down here. I'm going to look at the chat for a second, see what's on here. 2, what's that picture behind your head? Oh, that. You want to know what the picture behind my head is. Hang on a second. It's me. That's me. This was drawn by probably one of the most prominent cartoon artists in Australia. He goes by Dr. Jenner, and he has some amazing books based on the idea of a rat being a doctor for the animal kingdom. And he drew this based on me. Does it look like me? You think it looks like me? Is that me? Anyway, that's where that comes from. Dr. Jenner is awesome. I suggest you all look at his site. And back up on the wall it goes. Yeah, I was very flattered to have that, by the way. It was an awesome thing. Now, as most of you know, at least hopefully most of you know, yesterday was the first day of autumn. Yay! Because autumn is that's my favorite season ever of the year. And the only reason I can describe that it is my favorite season of the year is because of, I guess, the feeling of it. Autumn has this thing where it's got these really, I mean, it gets this blue sky that's bluer than any blue you've ever seen, and the colors of the leaves, they start turning. But it's not just the colors. You actually begin to smell this particular smell of these leaves and of the kind of the wetness, and there's this tranquility, there's this stillness that comes down on the earth, and it almost feels like something's about to happen. Something big is about to happen every single time. And it's like the earth is beginning to, it's like it's starting to go to sleep. And it starts to feel a little bit colder. And there's almost this comfort in feeling and watching, I hate to say it this way, but the death around you, the death of even though they're not dying, death of the trees, because you know that there's going to be this period of cold, and then it's going to come back again. There's going to be this cycle that you know. And fall seems to be the last part of that. It seems to be the last the very last piece of, life that's going to happen, and then you have to go through this cold period, and where there's really nothing. It's all silent, and nothing's really alive, and then it all comes back, and I don't know. It seems like fall is like the twilight. It's like the twilight of the year, and I really like that. I really happen to like that. And I'm not sure exactly why, but I always have. I always have loved everything about that. And by the way, I learned something. I have a best friend. Do you have a best friend? I think best friends are actually very, very important in life. And my best friend is Alector Fencer. She lives in Berlin. She's a German. And she taught me something the last time she was visiting me. And I know this is going to sound really stupid because along with being an amazing artist, and I'm going to link I'm going to give a link to her art site in the chat. She is an incredible cook. She can cook too. And which is kind of strange to people because Alector Fencer is like this mysterious artist. Just like, it's like, hey man, you pictures, you can make some pictures, and she will disappear into a cave, and there will be noises, and every now and then a puff of smoke will come out, and she will come out with pictures, and she would be like, this is the art for you, and it's like she just conjured it somehow. But one of the things people don't often know about her is she's also a very, very good cook. And she taught me a thing that may be very stupid. You can eat pumpkins. I didn't know you could eat pumpkins. As an American, we're often taught that there is pumpkin pie, and then the only other thing you can do with a pumpkin is carve a little face out of it and put a candle in there and put it on your doorstep. That's pretty much all we're taught. For the first time when she was here, she sliced off a piece of pumpkin and said, here, eat it. And I went, and it was food. And I didn't know it was food. I thought it was some kind of gourd or something you just couldn't eat. Well, she made this pumpkin soup with pumpkins and vegetables and potatoes and stuff, and it was really, really good. And I think that, I don't know, speaking to most Americans, but Europeans, you guys probably know this already, especially the Polish, because I know Polish eat pumpkins all the time. But Americans, not so much. A lot of us don't even know that they're frickin' edible. So if you want to try something different for this fall season, it's got a very fall flavor, and it's really cool, and plus I love cooking, then I'm going to link you to a recipe for a pumpkin soup. You can make this pumpkin soup. You can just go to the store, buy a pumpkin, and make this pumpkin soup. Well, you got to have potatoes and a few other things. But if you never had pumpkin soup before, you got to give this stuff a try because it's absolutely amazing. I'm looking at the comments again, and Sea Dog says pumpkin seeds. Definitely. You can actually roast pumpkin seeds. You can salt them, and those are really good. They kind of taste like sunflower seeds, except you don't have to spit anything out. They're really good. I actually like those a lot. So it's interesting. Halloween is coming up, as we all know. It's getting fall. You can tell Halloween's coming when they start selling Christmas shit in the stores, because that always happens first now. I don't know why. But, so, Halloween's coming up, and for furries, if you happen to be a furry, well, that's an interesting holiday because it's kind of just another day. Furries dress up all the time. Halloween is not like the one time a year they get to go, yay, we get to wear a costume, because they'll do it to work. So, but there's one thing that I noticed that's changed about Halloween over the years, and that is the entire feeling of it. Last year, we got one trick-or-treater. One. And when we opened the door, there was a kid He didn't even have a costume on. He's just knocking on the door. And he was driven up by his parents. His car, the car was sitting there, and his parents were sitting in the car. He was driven up there, knocked on the door with no costume, and said, "Trick or treat." Now, I hate to lapse into old man mode here, but, in my day, if you did that, you wouldn't get nothing. They'd be like, you didn't have a costume. What the hell? When I was younger, Halloween was different. Parents didn't drive you around in cars. You put on a costume and you went out into the night, into town, on your own. And you went from door to door. You went to as many doors as possible. You knocked on them, and they'd give you loads of candy. And at some point, some people started getting afraid that, what if, there's a razor blade in the candy bars? What if there's poison? And they started not letting their kids go out to do this anymore. They'd let them go to sometimes malls or business establishments would have Halloween. You go by the business establishment, but it was all commercial at that point. They were like, thank you for stopping by to get the popcorn ball. And here's a coupon for, one payment off of a TV if you rent from us. It turned all commercial. And so I think since furries, we don't really have the magic of dressing up because we do that all the time. And you don't have the magic of getting the candy anymore. But what's really missing that I think furries and everybody doesn't have about Halloween anymore is the exploration. Because the idea of being out on your own, walking through your town, and simply going door to door and meeting people and seeing who they were and getting to know them and running into other people that you knew on the streets, going down streets you'd never been down before. There was an excitement in that. It wasn't just the candy. There was an excitement in wandering through town in the dark on your own. And maybe if there's anything left for furries for Halloween, it's some kind of exploration. I might suggest for Halloween, forget the candy, forget the costume. Go wandering somewhere. Go wandering out in the dark. Don't take your car. Just wander off. Do something. Go a direction you've never been before in the middle of the night and just walk down the street and notice things and get that feeling back, because that was an awesome feeling. And I think that it's something that is really missing anymore from Halloween. I'm going to be right back after a very short break. Actually, it's going to be no more than a 2-minute and 30 break. And we're going to go into talking about some things that NASA has done lately, which is going to be very interesting. So, at least I hope. And I'll answer some more of your questions, too. So, be right back. Give me just a couple of minutes. Hang on. And we're sort of back. Somebody on the channel says, who gives a fuck about NASA? And the answer to that is people who want to understand the universe. If you have no interest in that, then that's fine. But people who want to understand how the universe works, they give a fuck about NASA. Because NASA has done some amazing things in the last few years. Well, over the last 30 years, but specifically in the last few years, they have actually done a lot of really interesting things, which I personally am pretty excited about. When I was a kid, well, about 20 years younger than I am now, my mom, and I see you people shouting Pluto and Ceres. Pluto and Ceres, yes. We're definitely going to talk about that. When I was a kid, well, I don't want to say a kid. I was younger. My mother got me a telescope. And this telescope was capable of tracking things. You could look at the moon and hit a button, and it would follow the moon. Exactly. You could do this with Saturn. It was a telescope from Earth, so you could see all this blurry kind of, heat wavy sort of stuff coming off the atmosphere, and it wasn't exactly clear, but you could see the rings of Saturn. You could see a ball and these little blurry lines around, and I loved that. I loved looking out there and thinking about that because they were so far away, and it really made me feel smaller. I don't know why I liked that, but it was something that made me more aware of my place in the universe and how big the universe was. And honestly, I love that. I love mystery. I love not knowing everything. I love the fact that there are places that are too far away for us to reach or even communicate with. I love that. I love the fact that this universe is that big. I remember when I was in school, and all we had in our textbooks, in our science textbooks, were black and white pictures of the planets. They were fuzzy. You couldn't see them. And I remember going from that to color photographs that were high def. And this was because of NASA. We were able to see Jupiter's spot suddenly. We were able to see the rings of Saturn suddenly because NASA sent out these things. I mean, who gives a fuck about NASA? Anybody who ever wants to see a picture of another planet other than ours. That's one thing. We wouldn't have the pictures that we have right now of Saturn. We wouldn't know that there is volcanic activity on Io. We wouldn't know that things like, that Enceladus has, an internal heat source being generated by the push and pull of the gravity that goes around Saturn, and there could possibly be life on there. The same with Europa on Jupiter. We wouldn't know this stuff. And we do. And I'm glad that we do, because it's very possible that we could find other evidence of life in our solar system. And if we do find other evidence of life in our solar system, that's going to mean that there is life all over the universe. If you can find life in two places in one single solar system amongst 400 billion stars, then that means it's everywhere. It's every single where. You wouldn't be able to, you'd be able to throw a cosmic rock and hit another civilization, and I love that idea. Now, there's this video that I want you guys to see. I want to recommend it to you. And I'm going to show you a little bit of it, but I think you'll like this, because basically what it is someone took a lot of the photographs from the Cassini mission that was sent up to study Saturn and its moons and put them in sequence to where they kind of come out to being motion video. But they did it in such a way that it's really artistic. It's extremely eerie and far away and weird, but they're all actual motion pictures of things that are going on right now in our solar system, millions of miles away from us. And to me, that is just a bomb. I love the idea of that. I'm going to link that down in the comments so you can actually go and watch that after the show, and you can see the whole thing. And it's very artistic and it'll give you a sense that you're kind of small in the universe, and that there are other things out there, which I like. Now, of course, the most recent one was Pluto. There was Ceres, which it's not even really considered a planet. We went to Ceres, finding a lot of crazy things on Ceres. We got a satellite orbiting around it right now. And Pluto, everybody knows about Pluto. When I was younger, Pluto was this it wasn't even just a planet. It was this lonely, kind of forbidden, sort of, far removed idea of distance. It was just this amazing, way the hell out there loneliness. And it's not anymore. It's not loneliness anymore. We sent a probe somehow. We launched a probe off of Earth and hit Pluto with it. I mean, that's just amazing. The engineering work that goes into that kind of thing is totally amazing. And they just came out with some new high-res photos today that they'd taken of Pluto. I know it's kind of cheesy, but I have hopes for space travel in the future. I would love to see people living in space and living in orbit around Earth and around other planets and around Mars and in the atmosphere of Venus. If you look that up, that's actually not an implausible idea of actually having cities floating in the atmosphere of Venus. This is possible. It's a possible thing. And I love that idea because I love seeing exotic places and just expanding my experience of the world, which I think most of you guys do too. And if you do, then I'm sure you agree with me that space travel, it's got to be a thing. Maybe on the next episode or something, I'll show you the actual designs for the new engine they came up with. It's insane. It's like one of those things like, why didn't we think of this 500 years ago? Because they could have, but we just didn't think of it until now. And it's really, really simple. So, yeah, I'm too. Have you read The Case for Mars from Swifty Swift? The Case for Mars. Yes, I believe I have. It's got a lot of good ideas in it. And I would really like to see. I still think Mars is possible. I really do. And I think that without maybe, and this is going to be the sad thing, maybe by the time I die, they're going to be colonizing other planets in this solar system. You guys will still be alive. Most of you are a lot younger than me. So you guys will still be alive. You guys will still get to see it. And Derpy says, you know what else is possible? A planet of intelligent bees! That is actually possible. However, I would think that if they're intelligent, they wouldn't immediately sting just anyone. They'd want to negotiate first. And then they'd sting you and kill you because they're evil. Bees are evil. They just are. Pardon me. Now, I know y'all are waiting for this, and, can you say happy birthday to my dog? His birthday was on the equinox. From Redead. Happy birthday, dog. I'm sure he really got a kick out of that. This is what I've been reduced to, ladies and gentlemen. I'm saying happy birthday to people's pets. And you know what? I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. Anything that I can do to make people happy. But I've got some stuff coming up that I think is going to maybe be exciting for you. But before I do that, I got to take a break and look up my stuff. You can take a break too. Take a break for how long? 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Not too bad. So I will see you back here in 3 minutes and 30 or less than that. So be right back. Oh my. Holy crap. Somebody actually recognized the some of the music that I'm using right now. Yeah, it's all royalty-free music because I don't want to piss any, buddy off that's got, rights to music or anything. So, and I don't want to use it unfairly. So, I'm using pardon me. I'm using royalty-free music in this show. Now, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, time for a good thing. TM. I've just copyrighted the idea of a good thing. I don't know how. The beer for this week. Where's my glass? My To the Ranting Gryphon glass. And we're going to dump the beer. We're not going to dump it. We're going to pour it gently into the glass. Like so. Very gently. Now, some of you may have heard of this beer before. And I recommend it to people who like darker tasting beers. It's very hopsy. Comes from the Stone Brewery and is called Arrogant Bastard Ale. Now, this stuff is exactly what it says it is. In fact, let me read. And forgive me for this. I have to put on different glasses to read. I'm getting that old. Ugh. I have to put on these dumb-looking things. Okay. This is what it says. This is an aggressive beer. You probably won't like it. It's quite doubtful that you have the taste or sophistication to be able to appreciate an ale of this quality and depth. We would suggest that you stick to safer and more familiar territory, maybe something with a multi-million-dollar ad campaign aimed at convincing you it's made from a little brewery or one that implies that their tasteless, fizzy yellow beverage will give you more sex appeal. Perhaps you think multi-million-dollar ad campaigns make a better tasting beer. Perhaps you're mouthing the words as you read this. It's literally what this says on the back of this stuff. I love this beer, not just because of the marketing balls that it has on this thing, but because it is a very full-flavored beer. And where did I put my other glasses? God damn it. I'm getting so old. There we go. So, if you look at the beer, that's not a light beer, folks. Boy, it does have flavor, though. I'll tell you that. So, few announcements. And I hope that you guys are excited about this as I am. I need to go over here. Wait, no, I don't need to switch that. I did a little thing. That's right. This is the first of many brand new rants that I have filmed in the new Colorado studio. It is going on right now. Things are starting back up. I'm going to be able to record more rants, more ideas, more shows, and I'm really happy about this fact right now. Now, I can't show it to you yet. There's going to be a channel specifically devoted to my rants and social commentary, and I want to separate that because I want to make sure this is a positive show. This is supposed to be a positive show. It's supposed to be a show where we can hang out and we can talk, and everything that you hear in the show is going to wind up being in some way positive. I want this to be the show that you listen to at the end of the week when you've had enough negativity and you want some ideas. You want some ideas for how to feel better. You want some ideas. That's what this show is about. That's not what the rants are about. The piece of rant that I just showed you. So I want to keep those on a separate channel to make sure that people who don't like that kind of aggressive negativity, even though it is comedy, they can stay away from that a lot easier and just come here if they want. And they know they'll only get a positive, experience. At least hopefully. I hope this is a positive experience. There's nobody around here saying it's not. I hope it's a positive experience. Because if it's not, then I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry in front of all of you. There, you happy? You happy now? So there's going to be that. There's going to be a show called Things You Should Never Say Ever. That's another social commentary. And I've already made a few of those. Those are going to be, if you've ever watched Teal Deer, they're going to be kind of like that, except for the fact that they're going to be based on English and why you should not use certain phrases because of their infallibilities in English or their social inaccuracies, such as, the phrase victim blaming. I go off on a bit of a tangent and a bit of an analysis on why it's not always wrong to blame a victim. For instance, if a victim of, if a person builds their house on the edge of a active volcano and it blows up, they are a victim of a volcano. Are they entirely blameless? No. So it's not always inappropriate to, blame a victim. Sometimes the victims are at fault for their own victimization. And these are, it's just little things that I'm going to go into with that. If you guys have any ideas on any more social commentary that I could do, some kinds of shows that I could do on the Rant channel, please let me know. Send me an email because I'd love to hear about what you guys would like to see from me. And people are saying don't cry too. And too, you have to bring up these ones. That's everywhere. I don't know what these ones is. I think the delay is the YouTube player jumping back to the stream and then going live fixes it, at least. There is a 30-second delay. And the reason there's a 30-second delay is because it keeps the stream more solid. You guys don't have to buffer it. There's no, places where you have to stop and see that stupid little spinning thing if there's more of a delay. So, yeah, there's about a 30-second delay. So I see what, you guys say about 30 seconds after what I've said. And can we rename to at now? No. It doesn't have the same ring to it. It's kind of cool. Maybe if I had a kid, I'd name it at now. But no, no. I think I'll stay with 2. I'm going to stay with 2. Like if you stab a beehive. I'm not going to stab no beehive. You can go out and stab a beehive. No. I'm not stabbing no beehive. That is bad. Bees are evil. They have butt needles. Any creature with a butt needle, you do not want to try and stab. That's completely, adverse to evolution. If you're trying to stab things with butt needles, then you're not going to pass your genes on. I'm telling you, you're just not. So, no, don't do that. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions here. So, on we go. Another announcement. Some of you people have been asking me about Retromania. Well, Retromania is something that I really had a passion for. DJ Ear really had a passion for. And we both really missed doing it. And he and I will sometimes lament the fact that we can't do it anymore because he's in California, I'm in Colorado now. And then we did a little research and we looked up the cost for him to fly out here. And it was much lower than we ever expected. So, brand new news for you on this front. In about 1 week, DJ Ear is flying here, and he's going to spend a week with me, and we are going to record a new season of Retromanias here by next week. That is going to go on the gaming channel that I'm going to start up. So there will be more Retromanias. We've got all the games lined up. We've got all the everything is set and ready for it. And so for all you Retromania fans out there, we're going to be doing that. There's going to be more of those coming out very soon. Oh, that's the thing about beer, isn't it? Oh, damn. 2, I love going on about bees. Reminds me that I want to build a beehive. There's a lot of things you can do with beehive, actually. Some of the best mead I've ever had in my life came from fresh honey from a beehive. It was absolutely amazing. Make mead. If you build a beehive, make mead with it. That's the best purpose for honey ever. Dat1 Furry says, that thing with bees is that they stick their butt needle in you, and then you can laugh at their slow death. I don't laugh at it, but nobody wins. No, when a honeybee stings you, nobody wins. I don't know. I don't even know why that is. The sting, they rip their butt out. They're going to die. You're in pain. If you're allergic to it, you may die too. It's just going to kill everybody. There's really no benefit. The only reason I think is because their instinct to protect the hive. They got to protect the hive. They're giving their life to make sure that their queen and the rest of their other bees don't get killed. But either way, it's just a no-win situation. Bees are no-win ever. Don't mess with bees. They don't care. They're like little jihadists. They will kill themselves just to cause you a little bit of pain. Don't even mess with them. That's why they're mean. That's why they're so terrible. 2. Oh, wait. Years ago, this is from Derpy Huskyroo. 2 years ago, you said you would do a 420 show if it became legal. So now that you live in Colorado, will you? Yeah. And I'll do it on the Beercast. It'll be the podcast. we will have one day where it will be the podcast. Because it's recreationally legal here now. So I will do a podcast one day. I will do this. And it will be the show that will totally fall apart. Can't I do a heroin cast instead, please? I mean, maybe a coke cast, podcast. Okay, yes. So, yes, I will do a podcast. I promise I will. And now, I want to run an idea by you guys because you guys can hear me. I can see you. And this is just an idea. I've thought about this for a while, and I've avoided it for a long time. For 20 years. Everything that I've done, other than the sales of my DVDs from my stand-up comedy. That's the only thing. Everything that I've done has been free. I haven't monetized anything. I haven't charged anyone for anything. I just simply, I make comedy because I enjoy it. I enjoy giving people a smile, and that's why I've done it. I've never made any money off of it other than my DVD sales. And I'm wondering how you guys would feel if I started a Patreon, because I'm kind of wanting to break down at this point and actually start one, because I realized if I was able to, right now, I'm like you guys. I'm like everybody. I have to pay bills. I have to buy food. And to do that, I have to take time out of what I would be doing to, make more videos and make more rants and make more ha-has and funnies and shows. I have to take that out, try and go out and punch a clock and make money so I can actually pay my bills. If I had a Patreon and people supported me in that, then I could stop doing that and I could sit in the studio full time and I could actually make videos and shows for you guys all the time. And I hate asking for that. I've always hated asking for that kind of thing. But what would you guys think of that? If I did that, would that be like, would that be asking too much of me? I mean, or too much of you? Would it be, because I'm wanting to do that, but I'm still feeling kind of crappy about it. I wouldn't actually ask for much. I mean, if I could get, a few $100s a month, that'd be all I'd need. And I'd be able to just sit in here all the time and just work for you guys and make rants and gaming shows, and more of these. And I could make a sex channel. I could make a sex channel with me going around, and I would dig different holes in the ground every week and have sex with them. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that last one. I swear. But everything else, yes, I would totally. I would be able to do that. I would be able to sit in here all the time, and I would be able to just, because that's what I want to do. I really want to just entertain you guys, and unfortunately I can't, because I got to stop, and it's so frustrating to me sometimes, because I have to I want to finish this thing. I want to finish this comedy bit or this video, but I got to go, and I got to, make some money from some bastard who doesn't even care about me, and I don't care about him, just so I can pay the bills. But I care about you guys, and if you guys, I like to think you guys care about me, right? It could be one of those things where, maybe it's a mutual thing, and if you guys support me, then I could come out and just completely do everything. I could give everything that I have to you guys. And I want to do that. I really do. It sounds like people are, it sounds like you guys are in mostly in favor of this. Well, actually, it sounds like you guys are kind of behind me on that. So, it's one of those things where I would like literally ask, like, if you want to support me, like $5 a month. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't charge like crazy. It's like, you want super sponsor, $20 a month will get you. I will suck your. If you give me $20, I will do a lot for you. That's what will happen. So anyway, that's what I've been thinking about lately. You know what? To be very honest, if we could make $200, every year, we could fly DJ Ear out here, like a few times a year. We could continue the Retromanias permanently. We could fly Jibba out here. We could do shows with him. Equipment is needed. We could be a lot better, and if we had a little bit more funding, and I was able to actually concentrate more on this and doing this stuff, then I would be able to actually just splatter myself all over the place. And that probably does sound exactly like what I'm saying. So, I'm going to take a break. Going to be back with a bit of a story for you guys. And I will see you in, what's this? A little bit longer of a break. Probably not, though. I'll probably come back sooner. But, yeah. We'll see you in just a few minutes. So, since the theme for this evening is, fall and astronomy, I have a small admission to make. And that is this. I get seasonal depression. Now, I don't know if that's a real, actual thing or not, but all I know is that winter depresses me. Literally, it really sends me into a severe... I have a problem working. I have a problem functioning. I sleep for 12 hours at a time. Now, is there anybody else out there like that who has a seasonal depression? Because I've met some people who do. I've found some things that I found that will help. And you would be amazed. You'll probably see. I'm going to try to do these shows during the winter, and you're going to see a difference probably in me popping up on the the stream and be like, hello, welcome to Beercast. I want to die. You're going to literally see me because I'm going to look terrible. In winter, I literally waste away. I've terrible depression, and it's because of winter. But for all of you out there who've had the same experience, I have an idea for you. Now, back in the 70s, some of you may not know this. Everybody, for in the late 70s, everyone in their house, they were loaded with plants and trees and potted, flowering, viney crap all over the house. People's houses would literally they'd look like a jungle. That was a thing for a while. And they would put as many plants and potted stuff in there as they possibly could. My mom, my mother, she did the same thing. She caught up in that. She didn't, she never stopped doing that. Now you move into an apartment and there's no flowers, there's no plants. You don't care. You just live in it. But my mother, no, you go over to her house to this day and it is a jungle in there. She has, 12 trees and potted plants and stuff all over the place, and there's not one free spot in the entire house that does not have something leafy and green. And on top of that, she would buy birds. She would buy parakeets and small, little domesticated birds, and she would just let them loose in the house. So in my childhood, my house, I grew up in this house that was filled with plants that had chirping birds, and they would fly around, and it was kind of like half civilization, half in the frickin' woods. And that helped me through the winter. That helped me through. Because you go outside, it's dry, it's cold, it's miserable, it's painful, and when you come inside, you've got this kind of like a tropical paradise with birds that are singing to each other and flying around now and then and all these plants. So I suggest that to anyone out there who's ever had any seasonal depression, especially for fall or winter, buy a bunch of houseplants, and there's no amount that's too small. Just put them everywhere. Houseplants, most of them are very easy to take care of. You come by once, maybe once every 2 days. Dump water. It takes, 10 minutes to actually water every plant in your house, and that's if you have a house full of plants. It's not a big deal. And it's really, really refreshing. when you have a kind of a seasonal thing, you know? And if you really want to, go out and buy some $5 budgies from the pet store. They cost about $5-10, and you can buy, 4 or 5 of them, bring them home, stick them in the tree, say, hey, here's your home. And they'll just fly around and talk to each other, and you can sit around on your couch in the middle of winter in the warmth of your house and be in the middle of a tropical paradise. And it really actually does help the mentality a bit. Until you look out the window and see all the snow. You got to close the windows. You have to close the curtains. Because if you don't do that, then it'll remind you of the fact that everything is dead outside. Dead. Dead. Not attractive at all. Dead is not attractive. No. We want alive. Dead is bad. I'm going a little nuts, I'm sorry. Beer. But Crush says, I want to buy a hermit crab. Hermit crabs are awesome. They're the cutest little fuckers in the world. And they'll go and they'll crawl in any little damn thing that you want them to, and they'll just, you can paint their shells and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's awesome. So, I think, I'm not positive, I may have lost track, but, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back after this break. I'm going to tell you a story, a little bit graphic, just warning you, but don't worry, it's going to end up in a positive note. So, let me just, grab a little bit of a break here and see you guys very soon. Oh my goodness, that was not much of a break. I gotta tell you though, these royalty-free songs don't last for very long. That's okay. We'll manage. I wonder how many of you out there have had a hard lesson in life. Something you learned that was not necessarily humane, but you learned a lesson. When I was 7 years old, I'm sorry, lived in Arizona, and my father caught me shooting a cap gun at my little brother. He was shooting. We were playing cops and robbers. Now, I am an advocate of firearms. I love firearms. I also love the idea of gun control. I think guns need to be controlled. I don't think they should be sold to any psycho out there. I think that there should be measures to protect, people from. However, the fact is that over 1 million crimes in the United States alone are prevented by private citizens who have weapons and know how to use a gun. That's something you don't hear often in the news, but it's the fact. Now, I love firearms. Love them. I don't see them as something that, that they're designed to kill people. I see them as something that are designed to poke holes in anything that you shoot them at. Just like a hammer is designed to hit anything you aim it at. A hammer to me is just as much of a deadly weapon as a gun is. However, when I was a kid, I didn't really think about it that much. And my father caught my brother and I shooting cap guns at each other. Now, father being the scary guy he was, he just went back inside the house. He came back out after about 5 minutes. You too. Get in the car. And he loaded us into his aquamarine, kind of sea green Oldsmobile. 1968 Oldsmobile. We lived in Arizona at the time. And he drove us out onto a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. Driving. Me and my brother were not, we weren't terribly comfortable with this. We didn't know what was going on. And my father took his .357 Magnum and he aimed it out the window and he pulled the trigger. Now, I've never experienced gunfire in a car. You don't want to ever experience that. It's like, whing, and that's all you're going to hear for about a week. It was extremely loud. It really will whack your ears out. And that's what he did. And we're like, what's going on here? He gets out of the car. He stops the car, gets out of the car. Come here. And he takes us out into the brush of Arizona. And he brings us to this rabbit. It was a jackrabbit. I don't know how many of you guys have seen jackrabbits in the desert Southwest. They're big. They can get bigger than dogs. These things are huge. And here was this jackrabbit, and it was in probably about 4 or 5 pieces. It was just blown apart. And it wasn't pretty. I'm not going to go into detail. But it just wasn't pretty. Now, here I am, 6, 7 years old. My brother is 5 or 4. And we're looking at this mess that our dad just shot. And he turned around and looked at us. He said, "You ever point a gun at someone and pull the trigger, this is what they're going to look like." Now, say what you want about, cruelty, about, being over the top. At the age of 6 and my brother at the age of 4, we instantly would never aim a gun at anyone again. And I'm wondering what happened to these hard lessons in life that parents used to teach kids. I mean, parents didn't used to, they didn't used to say, okay, fire hot, and then always keep their kid away from all fires until they were 32 years old. This never happened. What they would do is they say, fire hot. You touch that, you're going to regret it. They'd pull it away. They'd pull him away a couple of times, and then maybe the third time they'd say, let him go. Let him go. And the kid would go and put his hand in the fire under their supervision. He would burn his hand and he would learn for himself. This is what I think that's a big thing that's missing in today's society, is simply letting kids learn for themselves what's good and bad for them. You tell them this is going to be bad, and then you let them go ahead and do it while you're watching, so, to make sure they don't get hurt, or at least not seriously hurt, and you let them experience that for themselves when they're young. Had the same thing happen to me. I used to always wander off. I'd run away. My mom and dad would be in an apartment store. I was 4 years old. I'd run off. I expected them to go wherever I was going to go because I was 4 years old and the world revolved around me. Well, they kept saying, don't run off from us. One day, they just let me run off. They hid behind an aisle and they watched me. I remember this specifically. I turned around and they weren't there and my world fell apart. I was like, oh my God, I'm lost. And I never did that again because I learned people now don't do that. They don't do that anymore. They don't let their kids learn their own lessons. And I think that's a mistake. I think it's a mistake to actually not allow children to learn their own lessons. Yeah, they're going to get a little hurt. Yeah, they're going to get a scraped knee. Yeah, they might be a little bit emotionally tormented by something. But you know what? They're going to have that anyway. Especially if you hide them in a little plastic bubble and don't let them out until they're 18. Then they're going to be seriously tormented. You might as well expose them to this early and let them actually become adults instead of raising 18-year-old infants. That's just my idea. I don't know about anybody else. I'm going to go a break, and then I'm going to come back with your emails, and I'm going to pay attention to your questions live on the stream at the same time, somehow. I'll do it. But first, I will be right back in just about 3 minutes. See you then. Oh, boy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're going to actually go into some emails here. By the way, I want to thank you guys. The the first show, there was like 3 emails sent in, and the second show, there was like 30. I want you guys to know that even though, I can't actually read all of the emails. I can't do it in the time that we have, but I'm going to read at least some of them. If you send an email in and it doesn't get read, don't think that I didn't read it personally, because I read every email that you guys send, and I read every text that you guys send, because as much as you will see on the Ranting Gryphon channel, where I talk about how I don't give a fuck, and the fact is that me personally, not as a character, I really do. And I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. And I know that a lot of you know that, because you know that it's a character. You understand the Ranting Gryphon character. Some people don't, but you guys do. And so I just want to say that I honestly do appreciate everything. So I'm going to start reading from these emails here, and in between emails, I'm going to read you guys' questions. So get ready with the questions, because I'm going to start doing this here pretty soon. This one is from, oh boy, I hope I pronounce these correctly. From Zerofin, I hope that's right. Hey, 2. So hoping to get your input on a disagreement I've been having with a friend of mine. I consider myself a furry, even though it's not only really, it's really a passive interest. I enjoy furry art, furry characters, furry stories, and I've attended a convention or 2, but that's really the extent of my interest. I don't fursuit, I don't have any special attraction to furry pornography, and I don't make furry culture a predominant part of my life. My friend claims that I shouldn't call myself a furry, specifically because I don't make it a central part of my personality, and that my passive interest does nothing for the community, as I am also not really an artist myself. The way I see it, furry does not need to be any different than any other hobby or interest, and those who partake in it should exercise a certain level of restraint, especially when interacting with people who do not share this interest. I appreciate furry for what it is, and I have no qualms with people with anyone who embraces it more than I. Just wanted to know your thoughts on this. Am I furry or not? Okay, well, if according to your friend's definition, I'm not a furry. Because I don't make it a central part of my life. It is something that I do. I enjoy on the side, sort of like I love sci-fi. I love hang gliding. If somebody says that that you're not a furry because you're not contributing to the furry fandom, your enthusiasm toward the furry fandom is a contribution, in my opinion. Because every fandom, every group, every culture has to have people who have people who produce things. They have the artists, they have the stuff, and people who are a fan of those things. If there were only artists in the furry fandom and nobody who was a fan of that art, then there wouldn't be a fandom. So, no, I'm going to straight out say that your friend is full of horse shit. I hate to say it that way, but no, absolutely you're a part of the furry fandom. If you enjoy the furry characters, you go to cons and you really like what you see and you're part, I mean, even as a side kind of, lifestyle, if you have a life and outside of that life you enjoy this kind of thing, absolutely you're a furry. You're totally a furry. Don't let anybody tell you you're not. And by the way, don't let anybody tell any of you that you're not a furry because you're not contributing enough. I mean, that is the mark of somebody who just is really insecure with themselves. They have this idea that, well, I have done this, and anybody who hasn't done as much as I have just isn't a furry. That's not right. Don't even think for a moment that, somebody who says that you're not a furry because you haven't done as much as I have for the fandom. No, you are a furry. If you are a fan of anthropomorphic creatures and you're enthusiastic about this, then you are a furry, period. Don't let anybody tell you you're not a furry. And if they do, tell them that I said that they can fuck right off, because that's just not the case. Not the case at all. Next letter from Shadows Wolf. Who was your biggest inspiration to be a comedian? That's a tough one. I don't know. Probably my friends. My friends were the ones that kind of helped me. They gave me the confidence that I was doing things that were funny, that they would watch what I was doing, that they would enjoy my performances. As far as professionals, Lucille Ball. I know people. Oh, isn't George Carlin one of your? Yeah, it's. How about Sam Kinison, because you're loud and. No, Lucille Ball is actually my probably favorite comedian of all time. She just is amazing. Next question from VII. I hope that's not 7 Foxcoon, VII Foxcoon. I had intended to write this in for your second Beercast, but stuff and things happened that kept me from the computer. Anyways, I just wanted to say that your words on asexuality during your first Beercast meant a lot to me. I'd gotten so used to being treated, mainly by coworkers and families, like I was sick and broken, sick in the head, or even pretending to be asexual, and it had been really getting to me lately. So, long story short, thank you for those words. They really made my day. Thank you and have a good day. Strangely enough, because asexuality, we don't really have a cause because we're not really discriminated against. It's not being studied. I went to my doctor recently, and I told her, because it came up, that I was asexual. And she confused that with celibacy. She confused that with the idea that I had forcefully not had sex with anyone because of some belief or religious idea. That was my doctor, mind you, someone who's supposed to know about, medical stuff. So it's not this is not a highly researched area. The fact is, asexual people simply don't have any interest. They don't have any interest in it at all. And let me tell you, we we view the world in quite a different through quite a different set of glasses. It's very interesting to see the world, a world that is driven by sexual encounters, through a lens that just doesn't really have any interest in it. Wow. I'm starting not to be able to talk. This beer is amazing. I'm telling you, this beer is amazing, guys. It didn't take me long to fall off the wagon here. I'm even falling further off the wagon. I can't even talk anymore. Jesus, hang on. Oh, man. Okay, next letter is from Soren Swifttail. It says, Dear ranting friend, for a long time I've been questioning who I can trust in my life. Nobody has ever really hurt me except for a friend of mine who was secretly racist. Long story short, I don't really talk to him anymore. Good deal, dude. Now I think my solution is to ask people to be honest with me. Just simple honesty for the sake of weeding out the people I truly want to be around and express myself to. I don't have many friends, maybe 3 in fact, and I like it that way. I believe in close-knit friendships. I want to ask on your Beercast, Have you ever been dishonest with yourself? Has this ever caused you to be dishonest with someone close to you? Fact. Absolute fact. Everyone has been dishonest with themselves. And everyone has been dishonest with someone else. Even if they didn't like it, even if they didn't mean to, everyone has done this. This is a part of the human factor. Everyone's done it. Now, what really counts is if you try your best not to do this. If you recognize that you have been dishonest, that you have been dishonest with yourself, and you try your best not to do this again. That's really what matters. You have to focus on that. You have to decide, okay, I've been dishonest with myself, I've been dishonest with other people, and I don't want to do it again. And if you really focus on that and you really try, however, do be careful what you wish for, because there are a lot of people out there that ask for honesty. You give them honesty, and then that honesty winds up hurting them. If you ask for honesty, you may be asking for something that you may not always like. This is just what I've known from experience. Next letter. Next letter. Dear to, this is from, wait, hang on. This is from Kim Cat. Dear 2, when you start your gaming channel, will you host live events so that your adoring fans, oh, stop it, can come play with you and maybe even live out their deepest, darkest desires of owning you in a game? Also, what happened to Jibba? I miss having his, oh boy, his blackitudency influencing my life in many strange and horrible ways. Okay, well, first of all, not sure yet. At first, definitely, the gaming channel will just be me uploading videos of me playing games, kind of like you see Jacksepticeye do, Markiplier. It's just going to be my personality instead. As far as people's deepest, darkest desire of owning me in a game, not going to happen. Not. I'm 43 years old. Video games were invented when I was 5. I started playing them when I was this freaking tall. I was putting quarters in machines before your parents were born. Oh yeah. And I've been playing video games ever since. You ain't gonna beat me. No. No. Come on. Bring it. Anyway, what happened to Jibba? Jibba is still in California, just like DJ here. And I miss him as well. Unfortunately, we have our own lives. You know, they're at this point don't often coincide anymore. But we're going to try to do what we can to see how we can work together and how we can, give as much enjoyment to you guys as possible, because I know Jibba, I know he loves making you guys happy, and we're going to do what we can. And now it is time for the questions. And I'm going to look here, but I'm saying this, and you guys are not going to get this for another 30 seconds. So I'm going to, sit here and watch nothing for about 30 seconds. And then you guys are going to answer, and then I'm going to answer the questions. And so send me questions if you want me to answer. I'm going to talk to you guys right now. If I'm 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a long time. Have you noticed that? 30 seconds is a long damn time. I do not believe 2 likes to play Team Fortress 2. This is from McCresh. And you are correct. I do not like Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 is a game where you go around and you fire random grenades in the air at everything. There's no skill involved. There's absolutely no... You don't have to practice. You don't have to get good at it. you just blow shit up. And no, I've never liked TF2. Never. 2, when did you get in the fandom? I got in the fandom, and this was by Cax. I got in the fandom in 1991. That was when I was, believe it or not, there was a furry fandom in 1991. And that's when I got in. I actually spent about 10 years in the fandom before I went to my very first convention. It was around since the late 80s. And I got in just a few years after it had started getting big, because that's when the internet started happening with everybody. And it started spreading. Dear 2, do you still do the voices that totally don't match the words, like the gay starship captain? All the time. All the time. I do that stuff. Now, picture yourself here, a southern person, right? And this is his voice. And he is doing the voice of, say, someone who is on the phone with you for mechanical tech support. Wait, actually, that might fit. Oh, that was a bad example. I'm sorry for that. Fuck. Never mind. I'll think of a better one later. 2, have you seen Mad Max Road Fury? What did you think of it? I want that game so bad. I want that Mad Max game. It looks so awesome. It really looks cool. That was also from a crash. 2. This is from Kim Cat. What competitive games do you play? Okay. Most of the competitive games I play are combat games. Modern Warfare. I've played the, I can't think of it now, Rocket League. I honestly like more, I like cooperative games more, but I will get into competitive games and I will not lose. Because I've been playing games for 30 fucking years, that's why. So, anyway, Lewis West says 8 years in the fandom. Congratulations. That's not a short time. Not a short time in the fandom. Hang on. Mm-hmm. 2, can you still think up the opposite of anything? You did that for a while in 2 cents. This is from Zines. I know the opposite of everything. I know the opposite of everything. You mention anything to me, and I will tell you the opposite of that thing. You know, opposite of black is white. It's easy. Not a problem. Opposite of everything, it's not nothing. It's anything. I can, yeah. Think of anything, and I will tell you the opposite of that thing. Can always do it. See. Been in the fandom since I was 8 years old. 25 this year. It's from Flair. 8 years old. Man. See, the fandom didn't exist when I was 8 years old. It wasn't there. I thought that I was the only person in the universe, that was, into my 20s that really liked and wasn't avid fans of cartoons. I thought, and everybody told me, you got to get rid of these cartoons, man. This kid stuff. Why are you still liking that? Why are you still reading comic books? People told me this stuff. And in my brain, I was like, fuck you. Fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care about you. And all those people that were like, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway, those turned out to be furries. And so, yeah. Hang on a second. Sorry. I had to pee my pants. No. What is the opposite of unicorn? Okay, a unicorn is a horse. It's solid matter. It's a mythical thing. So the opposite of a unicorn must be a real thing that is not solid matter, that does not have... okay. opposite of a unicorn is a 4 hydrogen atoms. That's the opposite of a unicorn, is 4 hydrogen atoms. There you go. Not a problem. Yeah. 2, what happened to Jacoby? Last I remember, he went to some place with no stompy paws or internet. This is from Derpy. I have not talked with Jacoby in a long time. He moved off to California. He got married. And apparently he's happily married because he's been married to the same person for a very long time now. I think at this point he does not approve of my comedy style. He used to, he doesn't anymore. He changed his mind. And I haven't heard from him in a very long time. I'm not sure he likes me anymore. But either way, I still like him. And I would love to see him again, honestly. Anyway. Oh. 2. What's the opposite of an electron? The opposite of an electron? Really? The opposite of an electron is my hat combined with a giraffe. Come on, that's an easy one. Shit. My hat and a giraffe. Phew. Cax says, fuck haters. Couldn't agree more. Fuck them. Haters? Who needs them? We're here to have fun. We're here to hang out. We're here to have a good time. But you know what? Unfortunately, our good time this evening is going to have to come to an end pretty soon. We've about done our time. We've talked about everything we need to talk about for this week. And here in a couple of weeks, we'll see each other again. But for now, we're going to start to scoot. All the links are in the notations down at the bottom, the comments. If you want to send an email, send it to beercast@gmail.com. And also your photos. Don't forget to send pictures. Pictures of the eclipse. And of whatever else you want to. Send pictures of flowers. Send pictures of your feet. I don't care. I'll put them on there. And we will see each other again very soon. And I hope you all have a good week. And honestly, just remember to stay positive. Focus on all the good things in life, right? Because there's no reason not to. So, see you very soon.